Welcome to Friday Beyond Spotlights, where we invite leading minds and game changers with incomparable experience and unique knowledge to come on our light-hearted yet informative show. We aim to help business leaders and the wider community gain insights, grasp opportunities, and see behind and beyond spotlights, so we get the full picture, dream bigger, and achieve more together. I'm your host for this episode. My name is Nick Chen, a lawyer and lawmaker. Friday Beyond Spotlights is on and very pleased to welcome Joseph Chen Ho Lim, a Justice of the Peace, the Undersecretary for Financial Services and the Treasurer of the Government of the Hong Kong SAR, to share his insights on opportunities in pursuing and growing with the fintech market. Joseph, welcome onto the show.
Nick, thanks for having me here today.
Hong Kong has long been globally recognized as one of the world's leading international financial centers. I know that you are a qualified chartered financial analyst with many years of senior executive experience in the financial and bank industry. Can you share with us some numbers to help put things in perspective?
If you look at equity market in Hong Kong, last year we actually raised over 100 billion Hong Kong dollars through IPOs and actually put Hong Kong as number 4 in the world.
100 billion?
100 billion Hong Kong dollars, which put us as the number 4 in the world as an IPO center. As we look at the bond market, we ranked number 1 for 6 consecutive years as the biggest arranging center for international bonds in Asia. And if we look at risk management, looking into insurance density and insurance penetration rate, we rank number 2 in the world and number 1 in Asia. Of course, the asset and wealth management business is a very important business to Hong Kong. For the latest report, it showed that our AUM reached close to 4.6 trillion US dollars, and actually putting Hong Kong as the biggest center by AUM of the asset and wealth management business. Also, we observed a 48% growth since 2019.
That's impressive.
If we look at the cross-border wealth center, we rank number 2 in the world and number 1 in Asia. Actually, number 1 in the world is Switzerland. And by the same industry report, they projected that Hong Kong would take over Switzerland as the world's number 1 offshore wealth management center within a couple of years' time. And of course, Hong Kong as China's international financial center, we are the biggest offshore renminbi center. We actually have around 1 trillion renminbi in our liquidity pool as offshore renminbi, and also we handle around 75% of offshore renminbi global payments as well. So that put us in the biggest offshore renminbi center in the world.
Joseph, how big is the fintech market?
At the moment in Hong Kong, we have over 800 fintech companies. It's actually grown very quickly because back then when I first joined the government in 2017, we had slightly less than 500. So we're talking about a growth of like 60% within a few years' time. And in Hong Kong at the moment, we have 8 virtual banks, licensed virtual banks, and we also have 4 licensed virtual insurers as well.
Does Hong Kong have unique advantages that make us in a leadership position and allow us to maintain it and contribute to the growth in the era of digital economy, blockchain, cryptocurrency, central bank digital currency, DeFi, DAOs, metaverse, NFTs, virtual bank, as you mentioned?
Hong Kong is already the Asia's leading international financial center, and that put us in an excellent position to be the fintech hub of Asia-Pacific region as well. The reason is for the fintech companies, as they develop, they would be looking for access to investors, they will be looking for access to potential customers, and they will be looking for access to potential business partners. And in Hong Kong, you will see that most of the multinational financial institutions set up either the Asia region headquarters in Hong Kong or the biggest presence in Asia in Hong Kong as well. So it gives them tremendous access to such potential investors, potential business partners, and potential customers. Indeed, we see that a lot of fintech companies in, let's say, mainland China would set up business in Hong Kong and use Hong Kong to attract foreign investment and also use Hong Kong as a springboard to develop the business overseas. And vice versa, a lot of fintech companies from Europe, from Americas, came to Hong Kong and used Hong Kong as the hub to develop business in Asia, attract funds from mainland China, and also penetrate into the mainland market as well. So this is indeed the perfect place for fintech companies to develop.
What about for fintech startups? Is it a good place for them to thrive? Could you give some success stories or stories where we can learn from?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, in Hong Kong, we have developed quite a few different unicorns. And also, one thing that helped them is the fact that we are the second biggest private equity hub in Asia, Well, the biggest one is actually mainland China. However, it is a capital-controlled market. So if they're looking for a location which they have best access to private equity with free flow of capital regime, then Hong Kong is the best place. Indeed, if you look at our infrastructure, it also offers tremendous help and successes. For example, people talk about blockchain, and always they talk about the application in virtual asset. But in Hong Kong, a few years ago, we already used blockchain to develop what we call eTrade Connect, which is an application using blockchain to facilitate trade finance, improving the efficiency. Or also a few years ago, we have developed a system called Midas using blockchain technology to help motor insurance for verification across insurance companies, the government, and also the policyholders as well.
Is the fintech market an area that only caters for people with specialist expertise in both areas?
I have seen existing financial practitioners learning more about fintech and then move into fintech space. In fact, we have also offer a financial practitioner fintech training program for such practitioners sponsored by the government. And on the other way around, if certain individuals have technology skills, they can also acquire the financial knowledge and go into fintech space. And of course, someone who have no such background can also pick up those knowledge as well. In Hong Kong at the moment, many universities already offer fintech programs in the bachelor level and master level. And also for different financial institutions and industry associations, they also offer different fintech courses as well.
Now, Hong Kong is home to the world-famous Fintech Week, Asia's annual flagship financial technology conference that brings together fintech founders, banking executives, VCs, regulators, fintech-savvy audience. Can you share some intellectual food for thought that you took away from the most recent Fintech Week?
In November 2022 was a big success. We had over 30,000 participants, out of which actually over 2/3 was physical attendance. And we also have delegates from other locations, be that France, Italy, Israel, etc. When they were in Hong Kong, they see the vibrancy, they see the opportunities, and they definitely want to either expand or set up the presence here in Hong Kong to help them penetrate to the Asia market and the China market as well. One specific theme that they kept talking about is the Greater Bay Area opportunities. Because on the financial side, they've heard about the Wealth Management Connect. They've also heard about the remote account onboarding. They also heard about our initiative on setting up after-sales insurance service center within the Greater Bay Area mainland cities. So they reckon fintech can play a big role in terms of product development, in terms of selling service, risk management, and after back-end support as well. So definitely all these participants from overseas were very excited about the opportunities, and we were glad that they could come here and see by themselves.
Perhaps with policy support from the government, the fintech industry the world over seems overwhelmingly positively welcome proactive move by the Hong Kong Securities and Futures Commission to reportedly soon allow retail investors to trade certain large cap tokens on licensed exchange. Now, this seems like a stark contrast to the current practice in mainland China across the border, where crypto-related transactions are banned to protect local consumers and the market from high risk. What is your take on this difference in approach?
Well, first of all, as we all know, Hong Kong operates under one country, two systems. So if you look at the financial regulation or financial system, we have our own regulators in Hong Kong Monetary Authority, Hong Kong Securities and Futures Commission. If you look at the products already, in Hong Kong, we offer different type of products that the mainland market did not offer. It's just the difference in our financial system and the regulatory framework. And for example, in Hong Kong, we have listed option, we have OTC derivatives offered to individual investors, so on and so forth. And of course, in terms of capital market, we also have different systems as well, right? Mainland market in somewhat is capital controlled, whereas in Hong Kong, we offer free flow of capital, and Hong Kong dollar is freely convertible as well. But of course, when it comes to fintech or the virtual asset, we apply what we call the same activity, same risk, same rule principle. So meaning that if we see these virtual asset service providers, they see themselves as a proper financial institutions in terms of anti-money laundering, counter-terrorist financing, in terms of investor protection, in terms of client asset segregation, we would hold them up to certain standard as other financial institutions across the sectors as well. So this is our philosophy, and that's why we have launched such regulatory regime.
What is the latest in government regulatory policy and financial support to strengthen and grow the fintech industry and adjacent industries?
For the licensing regime, for the virtual asset service providers, which will commence in June this year, it will address different type of risks, including anti-money laundering, counter-terrorist financing, and also with investor protection as well. Will also require certain capital requirement for the trading platforms, and also we require certain client asset segregation arrangement as well, so that we want the industry to develop in a more responsible and sustainable manner. We also reckon that infrastructure is very important as well. So we are doing certain preparatory work and also testing on applications for cross-boundary use of central bank digital currencies, including e-Hong Kong dollar and e-CNY.
Joseph, you and your colleagues have been traveling the world to share the unique benefits for the international communities in making use of the Hong Kong International Financial Centre. What are the key points you've made and what kind of responses have you been getting?
The uniqueness and the strength of Hong Kong as a leading international financial center is one country, two systems. Under one country, we offer preferential access to mainland market, which is the second largest economy in the world and still growing very strongly. And under two system, in Hong Kong, we offer free flow of capital, free flow of information, common law system, a simple and low tax regime, and also a regulatory framework which is compatible with those of the global major markets.
What advice would you give to young people who wish to enter into the fintech industry?
I believe that even though if one is only a student, he or she can reach out to the alumni, maybe the uncles, aunties, or whoever they can get related to the fintech industry to get some advice and the frontline actions that they're experiencing.
Thank you, Joseph. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back to Friday Beyond Spotlights. We have with us today Joseph Chan Ho Lim, a Justice of the Peace, the Undersecretary for Financial Services and the Treasury of the Government of the Hong Kong SAR. Who is Undersecretary Joseph behind the spotlights? In this show and tell segment, we shall go behind and beyond glaring spotlights. As our special guest today, Joseph shows us an item that has a special meaning in shaping him into who he is today, forging his fiercely strong Lion Rock spirit. Joseph, can you share with us that special item?
Sure, Nick. This is a certificate that I brought over. It's actually the certificate of me passing the Grade A piano back in 1996. So what's so special about this is that back then in 1996, actually I already left Hong Kong. It was the summer after my first year in the University of Michigan back in the States. So it was quite difficult for me to practice and pass the exam. We were from a grassroots background. So that when I was first born, my family actually only rented a room of an apartment. So we were actually sharing an apartment with another family. So we're talking about like 7 people living in one apartment of like 600 square feet. As actually when I reached the age of 3, then my family finally were able to afford to rent our own place. When I was small, I told my parents that actually I like music, I always sang at home, and I want to learn piano. But definitely, they could not afford that, buying a piano or paying a tuition fee. So I only asked for a couple of times. I realized that my family could not afford it, and they didn't ask anymore. But then when I reached age 10, when my parents finally could afford our own place, then when I got into my bedroom, then I found a piano in my bedroom. So I was very touched and I was very surprised.
Very sweet.
So I finally started to learn piano at the age of 10. But then, as you know, based on the Hong Kong education system, so I finished primary school. By the secondary, Form 6, then I left Hong Kong to US for university education. But by then, I have not yet finished grade 8 examination yet. But then for the last year, I really wanted to complete this course, telling myself that, look, my parents gave me this opportunity. I want to pass this milestone, and also the same goal that I set for myself when I was small. So, but it was very difficult because when I was living in the States, I was living in a dorm. Of course, I didn't have my own room or piano. So what I did was actually, it was very cold winter, by the way. So you need to walk under like 40 degrees below 0 Celsius to another building to get a music room for an hour to practice piano. And of course, back then, the internet was not that well developed. So with my piano teacher, we relied on letters only because a phone call for like 10 minutes would cost you hundreds of Hong Kong dollars already. Yes. So when I was in the States, I practiced under these circumstances. And when I came back to Hong Kong during that summer, within that 2 months, try to practice better, get the tutoring from my piano teacher, and eventually got this pass. So to me, it was very meaningful. And I think that I did that for both my parents and myself.
Well, you didn't let yourself down, didn't let your family down. You really chased your dreams.
Throughout this experience, right, I reckon my parents worked very hard, and they try very hard to give better standard of living to the next generation, which is myself. So although they started from a relatively humble beginning on the grassroots level, from renting a room when I was first born to renting a place when I was 3 years old, and eventually could afford their own apartment, buying a place, becoming an homeowner when I was 10 years old. It showed that as long as you work hard, Hong Kong is a place for opportunities. They could achieve it. And also, I was always grateful for the sacrifice, because it's only after I grown up then I realized that piano actually cost equivalent to 1 month's salary of my mom's job back then. So it's quite significant. And also, going into later on as I went to the States for university, although it was difficult for them to afford, my parents didn't say a thing. They were very supportive. It's only later on then I found out they actually need to redo their mortgage, refinance the apartment in order to pay the tuition fee. So I think through the process, I see sacrifice from my parents. Of course, I see the love from my parents. And also I see that they do believe that as long as they work hard, they will be able to improve the living standard and fulfill the dreams of the son. And also from my own experience, especially in the last year to finish grade A piano, I also reckon that as long as you are determined to do something, no matter how difficult and challenging the environment is, you can be creative, you would find a way, you persevere, and you will get it done. I think this, I would say, can-do spirit, also the sacrifice for others people are always embedded in my heart.
How has your parents' sacrifices shaped you into who you are today?
Of course, the sacrifice they made gave me very good education, very good life experiences, and that gave me a very good platform to build on for my career. And also that taught me how to be grateful and how to observe what other people have sacrificed for myself. As long as you work hard, as long as you have the conviction and belief you're going to turn things around, you're going to improve and make things better.
Having that great education and that can-do spirits, how have you entered into your career path in the financial banking industry?
I was very into community service and public policies. And also, of course, because my dad is a civil servant as well. So we always talk about public policies at home. Then later on, when I graduated from university, when I came back to Hong Kong, I think because of time, because the difference in terms of timing, I came back to Hong Kong in May when there were no examinations were offered for entering the civil servant force. So I applied for a job and I joined investment banking. The job was very demanding, I have to say. The hours were very long. I started at 8 o'clock in the morning. I finished out at 12 o'clock midnight. Then I will got home at 12:30 for dinner, finish shower, changing at around 1:30, hit the bed, and then 7:30 got up to begin another day. And also for weekend, I needed to work as well. So I would say it's a very grueling period of time in terms of my career, but actually I enjoyed a lot. So I was always grateful and tried to look at the positives of the situation I was in.
In the industry, widely known that you're one of those who made it before 30. What was that made it that people talk about? And, have you been shouldering financial responsibilities at home?
Well, I think you are referring to the fact that I make managing director in the investment bank at the age of 28. I would say I was very lucky. I think I rode on a tie in the sense that I came back to Hong Kong in 1999. As you might recall, from 1999 onwards, Asia was actually recovering from the Asian financial crisis. Mainland China's economy was growing very quickly. And Hong Kong, under one country, two systems, we prosper into the leading international financial center in Asia and also the international financial center of Greater China. So me being at the right time, at the right place is basically summing up my experience there. And that explains also why later on in the last 10 years or so, I wanted to give back to the industry or the society per se, because I had a very good experience. I was very fortunate to have a lot of opportunities as a young financial professional. And I have the conviction that the core competitiveness of Hong Kong are there. So I think we have all the right ingredients to continue to be a very successful international financial center, and our young professionals should be able to capture such opportunities. So I hope I can join the government in my current role to help shape the policies to ensure that the career path will be as wide, as open-ended as possible.
Joseph, as we reflect on the past, introspectively look at where we are today, and as we gaze into the future, what does the future hold for us?
Well, Hong Kong as an international financial center will continue to prosper. I think the best has yet to come, and there are a lot of opportunities coming along. And Hong Kong will always serve as the conduit to connect the foreign investors and foreign companies to the mainland market. And Hong Kong will continue to play a crucial role to facilitate such fund flow.
Joseph, thank you. Now we come to the fun part, the rapid fire segment of the show. There are no right or wrong answers. I'll be asking you, Joseph, some questions.
Sure.
Please speak what comes to your mind.
Okay, we try.
What was your best investment?
Education, for sure.
A word to describe yourself.
Calm.
Comfort food?
Any food.
Favorite sport?
Football.
Last movie you've watched?
Don't Look Up.
First job?
Summer internship at a construction company.
A person you admire?
My father.
Where would you bring visitors to Hong Kong?
The Peak.
Hidden talents?
Singing.
Talents you wish you had?
Better football skills.
When are you most productive?
At night.
Your proudest moments?
Starting on my first day in the investment banking job.
Nicest thing someone has said to you?
Someone told me I was a very kind person.
Last thing you search online?
Electrical website. Just because I came here.
Qualities you admire most about your parents?
Can-do spirit.
Your biggest fear?
Health deterioration.
Advice you would give to your younger self?
Just stick to your instinct and go for it.
What legacy do you wish to leave behind?
I just want to leave a better place for the next generations.
How will Fintech market look in 5 years?
Booming.
Joseph, could you share with our audience your best wishes for Hong Kong?
Hong Kong is Hong Kong. We have the DNA and the ingredients to be very successful. We have the right culture, the right system, and a can-do spirit. So with belief and hard work, we will continue to be successful.
Thank you, Joseph.
Thank you, Nick. It's my pleasure.
Well, thank you all for joining us on Friday Beyond Spotlights. Until next time, be well. Joseph, thank you for coming on Friday Beyond Spotlights.
The pleasure is mine, and it's always great seeing you, Nick.
Thank you. Well, thank you for sharing your Line Rock story.
Actually, the Line Rock standing just right there. Let's toast to the further success of Hong Kong.
Cheers.
Cheers.